Uh, what's good? It's your boy Whispy Woodz. And in this video, you guys, we're basically just gonna have a light update on just things to come and somewhat of a conversation on things that we've talked about and or clarification of certain aspects that a lot of people and or were probably confused about, and I understand. First things first is I want to give a big shout out to my boy Herbalist, and I would really like all you guys to go try his channel. He's once again a good example of people understanding what I'm saying and then taking it to the next level of understanding and then running with a path. Okay, he's a perfect example of that. And not only that, but my boy Eyeless Joshi, he clarifies a lot of things that have to go on with the mystery, but in valid short shots of certain things that we just haven't seen before that were right in front of our face. And he has some very interesting things about the devil and Trevor. And for those of you who are interested, check him out. One thing I do want to bring out in this video is the aspect of this horse that my boy Herbalist brought up in his video. And the first thing I want to bring up is this goes by the same principle, you guys. Okay, the same principle that we found out, the perception. Okay, the perception of looking at the mountain. And it's built off of this same aspect of looking at light, alright, through monuments, alright. If a pyramid, alright, is something that we know of to be a monument, it goes within duality of other things that can be considered pyramids and or monuments. Okay, yes, this horse is not a pyramid, nor is it a prism, but the fact of the matter is that it goes by the same shadowing context that other aspects of Mount Chiliad has, and how it shows us different things that we have not necessarily connected yet, like the throne. Okay, and the fact of the matter is that the Holy Land is a very, very significant part of just biblical religions that have to do with a deity and or sacrifice and or any of the things that we've been talking about. There's always been a throne, there's always been a Holy Land, and there's always been a second coming of said deity. Now, the fact of the matter is that if this is all to be within the same spectrum of light for us to look at as there being a good aspect of a throne and or a castle, okay, where a throne resides, there is also a bad aspect to where a throne resides and or the devil. Now, for those of you who haven't seen this video, I'm going to show his biggest part to why this horse is relevant with a castle. Now we're looking at the aspect of the shadow of the horse, and it's very interesting that it basically creates a sandcastle. And one thing that's very interesting about GTA in general is that we just happened to get an update. In fact, our very first update, which was the Beach Bum update. And what did we get, you guys? Sandcastles. Think about it. It all has some aspect of showing us things we need to pay attention to. And these were clues that we have missed in subtle parts of the game. Just like this. You see, you guys, there's a lot of things within this game we can take for coincidence. I mean, seriously. Just like the Bible and just like other aspects of life, you can take them as coincidences. But you also have a choice to take them further for an understanding, to gain some part of life that you are missing, whether it be a physical spectrum of what you may feel and or gain, or a spiritual spectrum of certain things you may gain. Okay? A castle, very nonchalantly on the Renton Canyon map, is something very, very interesting, which is one of the things that not necessarily led us to the castle, but led us to understand the duality. That just because they show a castle doesn't mean that it can be taken in both sides of the spectrum, be it bad and good. Okay, we had already found the shape of a castle within the aspect of the Holy Land and or Rockford Hills, where Michael lays. But we also find a castle where the Ultras camp is. If you don't think that this is where the Ultras camp is, I'll show you. Remember this aspect of the map. Okay, so now we're looking at the exact same part of the map that we had missed. Okay, and this is part of what I mean about people looking at certain aspects of the game but then not caring about what they mean. Okay, I'm going to show you again what that castle looked like because I want you to understand what I mean. The castle, okay, and the arrow next to it is very different than the arrows that were obviously printed on the actual in-game map, meaning there was something odd about that castle and about that arrow pointing towards it. And it's pointing right here. If this be it the castle, okay, then it be it the Ultras camp. And that is the Evil Throne, the Chiliad Mountain State Wilderness. And the fact of the matter is that these are the only two aspects of a castle that we've known to be referenced to a location. JesusToast? Maybe. That's a matter of your opinion. But I will show you something else that just might be JesusToast or something that you just don't give a fuck enough to realize. Okay, so you guys, I want you to understand. Fucking chop. I want you to understand, you guys, okay? Seriously, the aspect of a dog, alright, is very closely tied within the loyalty and all the other things that I've shown when it comes to the symbolism of a dog and Franklin, okay? There are evil aspects of a dog too, and this lies within duality, which makes perfect sense why you have the most choices to make when it comes to Franklin, especially significant choices like life or death. Now, the fact of the matter is that you have a choice with all three characters, whether they be good or evil. But there's only one character that has an implication, okay? An implication to be naughty, literally, by nature, okay? The fact of the matter is that they make one aspect of a character to make choices, the right choices, be it Franklin. Then they make another character tied closest to the aspect of a religion, Epsilon, Michael. Now, the fact of the matter is that, once again, JesusToast can be taken in duality if you want to. It can be something stupid, something that doesn't make sense so it looks fucking dumb. Like seeing Richard Nixon in a fucking potato chip or some dumbass shit like that, right? But when you don't put any thought to it and you just think JesusToast, you know, you don't think of the dualities that it can mean and how Jesus relates to bread and how flesh is a spiritual representation of flesh. Now, aside from that, I'm not going to just blab on about it. I'm going to actually show you something that you can think is JesusToast or something closely tied with why they gave us something tied with CJ and or a black protagonist and a dog. Because understand, you guys, they could have just gave us a black protagonist. They really could have. They could have just made another CJ fucking remake for all we cared. I mean, it's what we wanted. But they made some close reference to him having a dog. And it ties two aspects of looking at the fucking game and looking at JesusToast. What we're going to do is we're going to show things that have been right in front of our face. Okay, and honestly, you don't have to see the eagle head if you don't want to. You don't have to see a lot of things. But one thing I do want you to understand is that within this area is Franklin's house, period. Within this entire area, okay, is Franklin's fucking neighborhood. It's where he moves. Okay? Yes or no? Yes, right? Okay. So now that is understood. Understand that when we apply things like segregating, okay, into aspects of the fucking game because they're telling us to do it, understand, I've done nothing in this mystery but follow rules. So understand, how I found this was purely by following the aspect of rearranging, but most importantly, segregating. And if you guys are wondering why it's taking me so long to even reveal this, is because it's so easy. Okay, it's so easy to show you something. It would be so easy for them to put something like a jetpack into DLC. It would be easy, wouldn't it? It'd be very easy. They put a fucking aircraft carrier in the fucking DLC. Why don't they give us a jetpack, right? Use your brain. What we really want in the game, as far as a big Easter egg, has already been in the game. Is it a jetpack? We don't know yet. Are there evidence to pointing towards a jetpack? Yes. But there are evidences pointing to other things that we have not even noticed. Like, once again, his neighborhood. And before I show you this, open your mind. Is that, or is that not, a dog? And I'm gonna seriously sit here. I want you to look at it. Because all I've done was segregate. Really think about it, you guys. Just really think about it. You have to understand, more JesusToast will come when I'm ready to show it. Because is there more things in this fucking map? Yes. But a lot of people are very negative, especially to outlooks and ideas. And they don't give a fuck because they're very strong-willed to their opinion. And that's okay to be strong-willed. But when you shut out other people's opinion is when things become negative and you start drifting off into another spectrum. Like I said, there's other JesusToasts. And this is really just the beginning of it. You guys really don't like this map. And when it first came out, neither did I. You know, I wanted the old map. I wanted San Fierro. I wanted a lot of things. But there's a reason why they kept this map. Not only just Los Santos, but they actually changed the way it looked in general. Because there's no way in hell they could have done all of this given the map that we had before. And it's just truth. I just want you guys to spread it. And one thing I want to make clear is that, you know, I try my best to answer a lot of my subs, but for those of you who I haven't answered, I sincerely apologize. It's nothing personal. It's more or less the sensation of the hunt and the progression of finding new clues that has taken us into newer paths. So I want you to understand that I do appreciate the input and I appreciate the questions. I appreciate every bit of your intriguing duality to join the mystery. But one thing I want you to understand is that just because I cannot get to a certain few of your questions, that does not mean you are not to ask questions within this mystery. That's the whole point. Okay? So, for my next Q&A, which will be possibly sometime in the near few days, I plan to roll out a few questions that probably a few of you have felt neglected about, but a few relevant ones that I've been doing with just certain things that we've been talking about. But to any of you who have any questions for me, whether impersonal, personal, or gaming, science fiction, or otherwise, I'm here to answer those questions, with a little bit of truth and a little bit of logic. And, for those of you who, honestly have the biggest input on the mystery when it comes to, a huge theory, I would like for you to either hit me on Twitter, or you can write me just a personal message. And if it's really interesting, then we can get down to the bare knuckle of it together, rather than it be saturated in the comments and so many people, whether they downgrade it or there be strangers to just give too much of a judgment. But once again, I want people to feel inclined to ask questions, and one of the biggest tools in this mystery is the question of why. Okay, seriously. And that's just a big issue that I want to get out of there, that needs to be addressed. The question needs to be asked is, why does a lot of these things connect? Why is there a dog in the map? Why is there an eagle in the map? If a few of you are honestly just still not wanting to see what I'm showing here, I think you don't want to see anything that Rockstar's trying to show you, and that's why you think that there's so many bullshit demon faces everywhere, and you think that they're stupid because there's so many of them everywhere. Where have you ever thought that there's so many of them there because they're all trying to show you the same technique of mirroring? I'm trying to show you guys a deeper aspect of life and a deeper aspect of this game. But I just find it very sad that only a few of you really care to learn. Until next time, and until the Q&A, spread the truth.